Is the One Punch Man a Buddha? No, Saitama doesn't have snail hair. Thanks for watching. See you next time, Squidlings. Bye-bye. What, you expect substance out of clickbait? Fine. Today we'll think about the anime One Punch Man, the anime Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and what I'm interpreting as their references to Buddhism, mostly the Lotus Sutra. I'm not a monk or anything, so don't take me too seriously. I just think this stuff is fun to learn about and then rant about. If you're interested, I'm stealing clips from the YouTube channel Akala Akala. They read aloud a lot of sutras, lessons from the Buddha. If you want to understand what the heck Akala Akala is reading aloud, I recommend the book Stories of the Lotus Sutra by Gene Reeves. As a side note, the Lotus Sutra says that if I share the Lotus Sutra well, I'll be blessed. But if I mess this up, I think I might be cursed. So, I sure hope you get some use out of me being cursed, whether anime trivia or Buddhism trivia, or maybe a little spiral energy. So, One Punch Man takes place in a world of superheroes protecting ordinary folks from monsters. Saitama here was an unemployed businessman with a boring, stagnant life until he found entertainment fighting this crab guy.
Bring it on, crab!
So, to become a superhero, Saitama did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and he ran 10 kilometers every single day with no air conditioning. And somehow, this made him a superhero. Unfortunately, Saitama is bored again because he became the One Punch Man. He can punch-splode any monster with, you guessed it, one punch. He wants a challenging fight, and no monster is strong enough to challenge him.
Not again.
Saitama is so impressive that he has an apprentice, a cyborg named Genos.
Please, I would like to be your disciple. Genos. Sensei, sir.
Could you lay off all the sensei stuff?
Yes, master!
Genos admires Saitama and writes down every word he says.
Please teach me the way to become strong like you are. I beg of you.
Saitama isn't enthusiastic about this, but right here, he does try to teach Genos that anyone can do what he did.
Wait, you mean he's going to tell us right now? The secret to his amazing power?
But Genos doesn't believe Saitama's push-ups made him the One Punch Man. And hey, can you blame him?
That is nothing more than standard strength training!
Yeah.
And it is really not even that intense! It is just a normal level!
Although, in the One Punch Man world, why wouldn't Genos believe Saitama? Becoming a superhero through push-ups isn't ridiculous at all here. It makes perfect sense. This is a world where a crab guy says he became a crab guy just by eating too much crab.
I ate too much crab and turned into this crablante.
In fact, I don't even think he did eat too much crab. Lots of people eat lots of crab. Where are all the other crab guys? How come he's the only crab guy? I think he felt judged for eating crab. He thought society looked down on him for it. He worried people saw him as the crab guy. In this world, that shame is enough to physically become the crab guy, even if no one actually cared. So why wouldn't push-ups make Saitama the One Punch Man? The way I'm looking at it, his push-ups never even mattered. His enthusiasm did the work. And he knows anyone can do it just like he did. I don't think he completely understands this, but Saitama has discovered a non-dualistic worldview. Monsters and heroes aren't opposites, they're one and the same. The crab guy became the crab guy for exactly the same reason Saitama became the One Punch Man. They're interpretations of themselves. It's not about what you do, it's about why you do it. What makes you weak could make you strong. What makes you a monster could make you a hero. Saitama says we can all be One Punch people.
Human beings are strong, because we can change ourselves!
Now ain't that a Buddha quote you'd see on an Etsy coffee mug? Although, you gotta be careful with Buddha quotes. Like Abraham Lincoln said, you shouldn't believe everything you read online.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Is it possible Saitama is supposed to be a reference to the Buddha? Is it Orientalism for me to even ask? Well, yeah, but hear me out. In the West, lots of fictional characters are based on Jesus Christ, maybe unintentionally, or maybe just slapping you in the face with it. Anime uses Christian symbolism all the time too. So I don't think it's absurd to wonder if a character in Eastern fiction might be based on the Buddha, maybe unintentionally. Is Saitama such a character? What would such a character look like? No, you can't just point to the Buddha, that's cheating. Dig in, there's a lot to cover here. Mahayana Buddhism says there's more than just one Buddha.
And they immediately saw the Buddhas, equal in number to the sands of the Ganges River.
All sentient beings have Buddha nature, so everyone can and should become Buddhas.
And if you practice, step by step, you will all become Buddhas.
Buddhahood requires discovering secrets of the universe through deep meditation, and maybe using those discoveries to perform a miracle or two every once in a while. But also, with unconditional compassion, Buddhas teach people about their own Buddha nature, so they can discover secrets of the universe too and pass them along.
The Buddha Bhagavat appear in this world to cause sentient beings to aspire toward purity and the wisdom and insight of the Buddhas.
That compassion, sympathy, empathy, kindness, that sort of thing, that's key here. It's all about saving everyone from suffering. That's why Buddhas make Pure Lands, heavenly realms in the afterlife where discovering secrets of the universe is a lot easier.
In these lands the soil was of crystal and adorned with treasure trees. All the Buddhas in these lands were teaching the Dharma in most harmonious voices.
But also, Buddhas have 32 features, such as good feet. I don't think you need to have good feet to become a Buddha. I think if you become a Buddha, then you get good feet. Does Saitama have good feet? I'll leave that up to you. But another one of those 32 features is hair turning in curls, representing the path to awakening. Nara, Japan's National Museum, which focuses on Buddhist art, describes this hair as looking like snail shells. You'll notice Saitama doesn't have this feature at all. He's the caped baldy, not the caped snail hair guy. So if you want good feet and snail hair, how do you become a Buddha? The Lotus Sutra describes 3 paths, but it also says only one of those paths actually works.
There is only the Dharma of the single vehicle. There is neither a second nor a third vehicle.
One path is as a Sravaka, which means listener or disciple. A Sravaka is someone who accepts and practices the Buddha's teachings, but they're just after personal enlightenment, without deep understanding. This canned textbook wisdom isn't enough to be a Buddha. Another path is as a Pratyekabuddha, which means solitary Buddha. A Pratyekabuddha is someone who has discovered those secrets of the universe, but doesn't share them with the rest of us. So this authentic, natural wisdom isn't enough to be a Buddha either. No, the Lotus Sutra says the real path to Buddhahood is as a Bodhisattva, which means enlightened one. A Bodhisattva is someone who leads other people along the Buddha path. So it's basically a chain letter. You'll become a Buddha if you tag your 10 closest friends, and so on. I don't think it's insulting to describe it like that. It's literally how the Lotus Sutra puts it.
Suppose those monks take leave of the Dharma assembly and go to other places and teach what they have heard. These people, having heard it, will also joyfully teach it to others in turn.
The most famous Bodhisattva is probably Avalokiteshvara, also known as Kannon or Guanyin. Avalokiteshvara sees all suffering everywhere with 11 heads, so they can reach out to help with 1,000 arms. They're pretty awesome. They carry a Buddha on their forehead They work in his Pure Land, and every single one of their pores is another Pure Land.
Inside that sweet dew-sprinkling hair pore, there are many bodhisattvas who will become Buddhas in their next lifetimes.
So how about Saitama? Well, through deep meditation, push-ups, Saitama discovered secrets of the universe. How to get superpowers, with which he performs miracles. Punch-sploding monsters counts as miracles? Come on. Violent combat is used as a metaphor for wisdom all the time. Buddhism borrows the Hindu deity Mara, the god of death, as a symbol for all obstacles to enlightenment. Physically fighting Mara is an allegory for the Buddha path.
Since the Mara kings will not obey him, the wise and noble generals of the Tathagata come to do battle with them.
Saitama is apparently so wise, he could punch-splode Mara. He can punch-splode any obstacle. He wishes he could find an obstacle he couldn't punch-splode.
Having overwhelming strength is pretty boring, actually.
So why is Saitama still the caped baldy? Why doesn't he have snail hair? Well, Buddhas teach people the Buddha path toward their own Buddha nature. Until Saitama can teach people the one-punch path toward their own one-punch nature, he's just a Pratyekabuddha, a solitary Buddha. Saitama doesn't have enough compassion to connect to the world around him. He just shops at sales when he's got coupons, and he punch-splodes monsters when they inconvenience him. He has attained great wisdom all on his own, but he's done trying to share it. Why would he try sharing it when no one listens? His cyborg apprentice Genos writes down Saitama's every word as if he's Ananda, the Buddha's disciple who memorized his teachings. And not even Genos really pays attention to Saitama. Instead, Genos keeps trying to match Saitama's power by getting bigger and bigger cyborg guns. But the guns never make Genos strong enough to even compare to Saitama. Genos can open fire on a monster which doesn't even notice him, and then Saitama just punch-splodes it. Genos is the highest class of hero. He's an S-class hero, and he deserves it. He's incredibly powerful. But Genos is limited by his dualistic worldview. Monsters and heroes are opposites, and he is weaker than Saitama.
I have to get stronger, understand me? I did not ask to study under you to hear jokes!
If he saw through these barriers, Genos could be a one-punch man too. Or he could put his own spin on it. He could be the one-shot cyborg. Instead, Genos writes down Saitama's words without thinking about them. Sometimes he just rejects them completely. He never tries to discover the secrets of the One-Punch Man universe behind those words.
I made some simple modifications and upgrades, nothing revolutionary, but they should certainly make you stronger.
Understood. I will not lose again.
Genos is a Sravaka, a listener, a disciple, someone who learns without realizing underlying principles. So is the problem here Saitama or Genos? Well, both of them.
I cannot picture myself ever approaching Master's power. Not even close.
But personally, I think Saitama is the one who really ought to improve here. Consider this. In the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha points from one person in the audience to the next and predicts, "You'll be a Buddha, and you'll be a Buddha, and you'll be Buddhas, and you'll be Buddhas, and you'll all be Buddhas."
Chapter 6, Prediction. Chapter 8, the 500 disciples receive their predictions. Chapter 9, the predictions for those who still have more to learn and for those who do not.
He makes so many of these predictions, I find them pretty boring. But one prediction is actually interesting because it's boring.
Chapter 12, Devadatta.
The Buddha predicts a monk named Devadatta will be a Buddha, and he doesn't even mention that Devadatta tried to murder him on multiple occasions. The Buddha doesn't say, Devadatta will be a Buddha despite trying to murder me. He just says Devadatta will be a Buddha to show it was never in question. The Buddha even says he couldn't have become the Buddha without Devadatta.
It is all due to the good and virtuous friendship of Devadatta that I attained complete enlightenment and extensively saved innumerable sentient beings.
There are a lot of stories like this, like the Buddha teaching this guy even though he kills people for their fingers. There are a lot of Devadattas, so to speak. Now take a look at this. There's a guy in One Punch Man named Garou. Garou doesn't like how people treat monsters. He wants people to respect monsters. And that might sound weird, but if you think about it, he's got a point. This is a world where those monsters might be monsters just because they're treated like monsters.
Monsters are cool too. Why should the popular win while the hated lose?
It's tragic.
Unfortunately, Garou expresses this point by becoming the most evil monster of all time.
If that's how the world works, then I will become the strongest monster, and I'll lose to no one.
He kills superheroes left and right to fight heroism itself. And now check out this panel where it looks like Saitama and Garou might just talk it out mid-fight. If Saitama has the compassion to accept Garou as if he was Devadatta, if he helps this proudly evil figure become a good guy, the one-punch monster, if he teaches him that being a monster and being a hero are not opposites, they are both expressions of self-image, I swear, snail hair would just pop up on his bald, egg-shaped noggin. But I think this panel was retconned. The next chapter just pretends it didn't happen. In canon, Garou kills Genos, and suddenly Saitama realizes he should have cared for the world around him. A little boy begs Saitama not to punch-splode Garou. So Saitama and Garou have this awesome cosmic battle, highlighting the boundlessness of Buddha nature. One-punch nature. This is another chance for Saitama to accept Garou somehow. But Saitama just turns back time and forgets all this stuff, avoiding any kind of character progression. I've heard people complain One Punch Man has become one of the action animes it's supposed to parody, and I don't disagree. It's pretty slow and it gets repetitive, but I also think Saitama's stagnant character is meaningful. The Buddha learned from Devadatta how to be a Buddha. Saitama can learn from Garou the importance of compassionate teaching. But teaching is a challenge which Saitama can't punch-splode, so he ignores it. Even though teaching could be the challenge he says he's looking for. If he can't teach, he can't punch-splode Mara. He's hardly a one-punch man at all. So how can he teach? The Lotus Sutra describes skillful means, or expedient teachings. Just like Genos sees himself as below Saitama, some people say they just can't be Buddhas, or naively say they've already done it.
They did not see their own defects, and clung to their shortcomings. These people were incapable of accepting this Dharma.
To teach them self-respect, Bodhisattvas skillfully repackage ideas in ways their audience can expediently understand. Maybe those repackaged ideas aren't completely true, but they lead to the truth. And if your audience won't accept the truth, then that's what matters. That's the best you can do.
Knowing the character of sentient beings, the Buddhas teach with skillful means, in accordance with the capacities of sentient beings.
Meanwhile, in One Punch Man, Genos tells Saitama his whole life story about a cyborg destroying his village or whatever. But Saitama brushes him off and says, "Tell me in 20 words or less." As a little side note, the anime did not get this joke. Like the anime, it actually has Genos go through the whole thing, and it takes like 3 minutes.
Enough, you idiot! Shorten this stupid story to 20 words or less!
Yeah, tell him, Saitama. But anyway, if Saitama ever puts in the effort to listen, he might be able to understand Genos and teach him skillfully and expediently lead him along the one-punch path. But he doesn't bother. And look, Saitama clearly likes eating crabs. He totally could have related to the crab guy. He could have helped him become the one-pinch crab. But Saitama ignores chances to be compassionate because compassion is hard. To be fair, Saitama does positively impact characters around him. I mean, he's a superhero. When he punch-splodes monsters, he's saving lives. He saved this stupid Chin kid from the crab guy. Sometimes he accidentally helps people understand themselves. This mad scientist, Dr. Genos. Wait, Genos? Genus? Write with more unique names, Squidlings. Anyway, Dr. Genos wants humanity to be genetically perfect.
Damn these simple apes! Treating me like a freak!
So he evolves animal monsters to commit genocide. Saitama punch-splodes a few of them, so Dr. Genos realizes people are more than just genes, and the eugenic dystopia he wanted was a bad idea.
Today is bargain day at the supermarket!
The store closes at 10 o'clock p.m. If we really hurry, we can still make it.
I think I'm finished dabbling with evolution. It would appear I'm the one who must change.
He decides to cook octopus with his gorilla instead. If Saitama taught him like this on purpose, and ate some of his takoyaki every once in a while, he would have a Devadatta. Sometimes Saitama shows compassion by skillfully repackaging the truth. Here, a monster beat up a whole bunch of heroes. But as usual, Saitama just punch-splodes it. Now everyone's wondering if all those other heroes are really worth respecting.
The fact of the matter is, that bald guy pretty much took care of it all by himself. So in the end, all those other guys died for nothing.
Saitama throws himself under the bus for those heroes.
The other heroes wore the monster down, so beating it was child's play. A piece of cake. Good thing I was late. I barely did anything, and now I get to take all the credit.
Man, what a dirtbag. Whoa, he is a cheat.
Saitama wants respect for even Moomin Rider, the hero whose superpower is that he has a bicycle.
Go ahead and laugh if you want to.
Why would I laugh at that?
You're a pretty funny guy, you know that?
This guy, he's a little confused, but he's got the spirit, and Saitama appreciates that about him.
The name's Moomin Rider, and I'm a hero, like you!
But Saitama's not usually so skillful. Here he's meeting a monster he definitely relates to. It's a space alien so strong it's searching the universe for a challenging fight, just like him.
Give stimulation to my existence. That is why I am here.
Saitama tries to give him that challenging fight by not punch-sploding him. But you can tell, even though Saitama's trying to help someone he relates to, he's just not into it.
This set of armor, which was used to seal in my immeasurable, irresistible power, has now been broken.
Okay.
In the end, the dying alien says, "You went easy on me, didn't you? Like my wife in bed, you faked it."
You lie. You were holding back, weren't you? I never stood a chance.
Look at that facial expression. Saitama knows he's missing something here. Despite all his potential, Saitama hardly ever really pays attention to anyone, and hardly anyone ever really pays attention to him. If they did, the world of One Punch Man could be a Pure Land, where everyone is united as one punch people, and the only conflicts are cutting out coupons and racing to the shops before the sales end. Instead, the people in this world see it as dualistic. There are monsters and there are superheroes. There are the weak and there are the strong. You know who seems to have their head in the game? King. King is a coward who plays dating sims.
Now this is excitement I can handle.
Hi there, big fella. Input your name, please.
As a side note, here's King running in terror, shouting, "Namu Amitabutsu," which means, "Get that Pure Land afterlife ready for me, Amitabha." Amitabha is the Buddha who Avalokiteshvara carries on their forehead, so there's definitely a little Buddhism in here. Anyway, King sees himself as inherently weak when it comes to fighting monsters, but he does know his strengths, and one of his strengths is helping.
So you feel lonely, Saitama?
Guess I do.
There's a ballroom dance school near the station you could check out if you want.
Saitama is metaphorically wise, punch-sploding monsters and all that. King, though? The dude's literally wise. He's a skillful, expedient, and compassionate fella. Saitama isn't listening, but King is listening to Saitama not listen.
Well, once things settle down, how about taking a trip for a change of pace?
There's not really anywhere I want to go.
Good grief, dude. You say you're bored and you're looking for some excitement, but then you won't take on any new challenges or anything.
Look, Saitama tried to hide he was going easy on the space alien, right? To give him the challenging fight he was looking for? In fighting games, King makes it obvious he's going easy on Saitama, and he still shamelessly smears the floor with him.
K.O. I demand a rematch.
King makes this a learning experience, showing Saitama that he has a fragile side he's gotta work on. And I don't mean sucking at video games, I mean his perfectionist attitude, which just holds him back.
K.O. Crap game! What a crap-ass game!
King gives Saitama the challenges he needs, not the challenges he wants.
It's inherently wrong to go into a fight seeking satisfaction from the fight itself. If that ideal is your goal, you've just begun. There's a long road to walk before you become the strongest hero.
He's pretty Bodhisattva, huh? King doesn't carry a Buddha on his forehead and have a Pure Land in every pore, but he's bright. I bet he'll be a One-Punch Man someday.
Within you, Saitama, there is a great deal of unrealized potential. What does it actually take to be the ultimate hero? Until you found the answer to that question, how can you say you feel bored? Those are my thoughts on it anyway. Plus, I read it in a manga.
Wow, you just blew my mind. The ultimate hero. Maybe I should be thinking about what that truly means. Honestly, that might make me even more bored.
If you're really that bored, then want to come over and play some games?
Still, no Buddhas here yet. So who in anime is a Buddha? No, I said that's cheating. Well, Nara Japan's National Museum describes the snail hair as spirals. When you think of spirals in anime, you gotta think Tengen, Toppa, Gurren Lagann. Or maybe Uzumaki. Or maybe JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Or maybe whatever this one is. But let's Gurren Lagann. If you've watched Gurren Lagann, I'm guessing you're already getting hyped up. Raw, fight the power! If you haven't watched Gurren Lagann, then, well, watch Gurren Lagann, it's a classic. Also, you can see, you kind of better watch it on your own because YouTube has made me butcher this. I can't talk about it here without talking about the ending, but I'll try skipping big spoilers along the way. To summarize, in my trademark pretentious style, I say Gurren Lagann is an abstract, surreal, over-the-top retelling of Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. The Inferno, the Purgatorio, and the Paradiso. I did say anime uses Christian symbolism all the time, didn't I? Studio Gainax also made Neon Genesis Evangelion, which basically throws Bibles at you. Not well-researched Bibles, mind you, but Christian imageries all over it.
Evangelion ka!
Anyway, in Gurren Lagann, the main character Shimon, and his brother in spirit Kamina start trapped in hell. Underground. Try to escape, and demons will poke them back into the lava with spears. Animal people called beastmen will crush them with giant anime space robots called gunmen. That's the Inferno. Then Shimon, Kamina, and the rest of Team Daigurren fight for humanity's freedom. Shimon pilots the smallest gunman, Lagann, to defeat and combine with a series of larger and larger gunmen, getting bigger and bigger drills until those drills pierce the heavens.
That behemoth now belongs to us!
That's the Purgatorio. Look, it's literally the Purgatorio. The Purgatorio is literally a path on a drill leading from hell to heaven. It's literally the Purgatorio. Saitama punch-splodes his obstacles. But Team Daigurren Purgatorios them. advances them, leads them upward. Finally, the team attains oneness with God. I mean, they pilot a gunman bigger than the universe and beat up Space Satan. That's the Paradiso. Dante didn't actually beat up Satan in the Paradiso, but he does in my fanfiction, damn it! Still, I say Gurren Lagann is only using the Divine Comedy to frame the Buddha path. Team Daigurren is a whole cast of quirky, compassionate protagonists, and they all empower each other with back-and-forth support. Shimon and Kamina aren't Pratyekabuddhas who can't teach. Every chance they get, they show that you can and should steal and pilot gunmen.
Hijacking a gunman isn't something that ever even occurred to us.
Everybody knows that only beastmen run around piloting gunmen.
So they say.
Oh yeah? Well, I say so too, buddy!
You see, the thing is... I stole it! That's why I'm piloting it!
You're a liar!
I pilot this gunman!
That ain't possible!
Is that so? Just who the hell do you think I am?
And other characters aren't Sravakas who miss the point. They start stealing and piloting gunmen immediately.
What do you think? These are a bunch of people from all over who've been putting up resistance. They heard rumors about a couple of morons fighting in a stolen gunman, and they gathered together to join the fight. Seems like we all caught your stupidity bug.
Compare that to Saitama, who rarely bothers to teach anything, and Genos, who isn't doing his push-ups. The only character in Team Daigurren I remember as a Sravaka is Rosyu, that nerd. Rosyu was raised to see gunmen as gods.
They are Celestians, for they have come to us in the company of face gods. We should show them the respect they're due.
So he doesn't seem to get this self-respect stuff.
I'm a fool of epic proportions! Dumbass! What are you saying? I've been used like a puppet. Let my death belong to me!
Rosyu tries executing Shimon at one point.
Simon is hereby condemned to death.
And Shimon's okay with that.
So I've left it all to Rosyu. That's the best way I can think of to ensure humanity's survival.
So Rosyu's a Devadatta too, for sure. On that note, in Gurren Lagann, lots of protagonists start out as antagonists. Long ago, in the prologue, Lord Genome failed to save humanity from Space Satan, so he commands beastmen like Viral to forcefully keep humanity safe underground. When Shimon defeats Lord Genome and Viral, he doesn't punch-splode them. He purgatorios them with his drill. Viral joins Team Daigurren.
Care to pilot, Viral? Just think about what you're asking.
They resurrect Lord Genome and fight with him to finish what he gave up. Saving humanity from Space Satan.
So to ease your fears, you hastily dug up my coffin and dragged out the corpse inside them.
Shimon even marries Lord Genome's daughter, Nia, after Nia tries blowing up Earth because she is made out of Space Satan. Okay, Nia was being mind-controlled at the time, but it still stands that Team Daigurren unites with opposites like they just don't care.
The paths of man and beast intersect! Join with yesterday's foe to smash fate, and grab tomorrow's path with our own hands! Destiny combining Gurren Lagann!
The antagonist to protagonist pipeline is a classic anime trope, but maybe that's because, well, the Buddha says he wouldn't be the Buddha without Devadatta. Shimon can't pierce the heavens to beat up Space Satan without piercing through, learning from, and combining with Viral and Lord Genome first. They're tutorial levels, video game bosses who join the player's party. I sure hope someday Saitama can join up with Garou. I think they both deserve it. You'll notice Shimon doesn't have spirally snail hair, but spirals. Those are the heart of Gurren Lagann. Team Daigurren fuels their gunmen with spiral energy, a mysterious power limited only by your chutzpah. How do you pronounce that? Pronounce chutzpah.
Chutzpah, or chutzpah.
A mysterious power limited only by your chutzpah. Let me show you the most awesome GIF of all time. This screen here displays spiral energy, and here, spiral energy reaches such unthinkable heights. The screen explodes, and the spiral it displayed fills our entire screen. Mwah! Beautiful! So I say it's pretty clear. Spiral energy is Buddha nature. Everyone's got it, and everyone should learn to use it. And the drills, the drills are the snail hair, with spirals representing the path to awakening. Yes, the drills are obviously phallic imagery too, but get your head out of the gutter. This isn't Tetsuo the Iron Man. This picture isn't actually in the show. Rather, like bodhisattvas leading people along the Buddha path, Team Daigurren's drills leave a spiral path so everyone else can follow them. That's not me waxing poetic, that's literally how they describe it in the show. Christ, try to tell me Shimon doesn't represent a bodhisattva here.
The drill you see before you will open a hole in the universe, drilling a path towards tomorrow!
Like following the Buddha path isn't enough. Following the spiral path isn't enough. You've gotta lead others along the path too. Here's another awesome quote. This one's from Kamina.
Go on. I know you can do it, buddy. I don't... Listen, Simone. Don't believe in yourself. Believe in me. Just believe in the Kamina who believes in you.
What?
That's Spiral Energy 101. Kamina leading Shimon. The quote develops to the Spiral Energy Masterclass when Kamina trades places with Shimon.
Listen to me, Simon. Never forget. Just believe in yourself. Not in the Simon that I believe in. Not in the Kamina that you believe in. Have faith in the Simon that believes in you.
Is this corny? Absolutely it's corny. But Kamina is corny because he says what he means and he means what he says. What he means and what he says is to follow the spiral path until you are the spiral path for others to follow. There's a reason lots of nerds feel their first spiritual experiences watching Gurren Lagann. It's because the writers at Gainax knew exactly what they were doing. Maybe it was unintentional, but I'm guessing they knew, and they didn't even try to hide it. Just look at this. Buddhism has a metaphor which Bruce Lee shares here in Enter the Dragon. When the wise point to the moon, fools look at the finger and mistake the finger for the moon.
Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
In Gurren Lagann, Team Daigurren finds out the moon is a fake, built to imprison them. What do they do about it? They blow up the fake moon and replace it with the real moon. Like Bruce Lee just bapping that kid awake.
You mean this?
No, that!
It's hard for me to believe stuff like this lines up on accident. So let's keep digging, with our spiral drills, of course. Nara Japan's National Museum says that this spot between the Buddha's eyes, it's not a third eye. It's a tuft of hair 4 meters long. In the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha uses that tuft of hair to fire a space laser, which illuminates not only the entire universe, but all possible universes.
The Buddha emitted a ray of light from the tuft of white hair between his eyebrows. It illuminated all the 18,000 worlds in the east, known as far as the lowest hell, Avicii, and up as high as the Akanistha heaven.
Lagann, the smallest gunman piloted by just Shimon, has a latch on its forehead which can release a drill. At the climax, Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, the largest gunman piloted by the whole team together, is bigger than the universe. And it illuminates all possible universes with its even bigger Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann heaven-piercing Giga Drill. Now that's the kind of giant anime space robot who carries a Buddha on its forehead and has a Pure Land in every pore, you know what I mean? Avalokiteshvara style. With this image in mind, in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha explains his physical form in this realm is actually an emanation, an incarnation, a manifestation, an embodiment of the cosmic Buddha, the universal Buddha, the eternal Buddha, the primordial Buddha.
Since I became a Buddha, immeasurable, limitless hundreds of thousands of myriads of kotis, of nayutas, of incalculable kalpas have passed.
If you leave that museum in Nara and fight your way through mobs of angry giraffes, you'll find this statue. It's a Daibutsu, which you can probably guess means Big Buddha. Its name is Vairakana, and it represents the all-pervasiveness of Buddha nature and boundless compassion for all things. The statues on either side and all around its mandala are bodhisattvas and Buddhas which emerge from Vairakana. Vairakana is their source. Part of the Buddha path is realizing that in a non-dualistic reality, you are Vairakana, and Vairakana is you. So Buddhas come in three forms: physical people, cosmic concepts, and intermittent steps between the two. This lines up pretty naturally with Team Daigurren, together piloting a giant anime space robot bigger than the universe. Doesn't that look like this? Members of Team Daigurren have their own separate gunmen, and those gunmen are personalized. For example, I present Yoko and her gunman without comment. These gunmen might be nested with layer after layer of bigger and bigger gunmen, while Genos gets bigger guns because he wants them to make him stronger. These guys get bigger gunmen when their solid steel cojones outgrow the little ones.
This is Simon's soul! Team Daigurren's soul! Humanity's soul! And actually, it's my soul!
The pilots enter and exit their gunmen all the time, but they're always connected. One conflict shows the pilots mentally separated from their gunmen, but they magically return because they can't be separated. They are the gunmen. And despite the pilots and their gunmen being unique and independent, when they combine to form Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, all the pilots and all their gunmen are seamlessly integrated. Like the three forms of Buddhas, these are individual pilots. Inside gunmen, inside bigger gunmen, inside bigger gunmen, inside one giant anime space robot with a heaven-piercing giga-drill. Team Daigurren used that giga-drill to beat up what I've been calling Space Satan. This is the anti-spiral, which has oppressed sentient beings across reality for eons.
We sealed away our bodies and any possibility of evolution.
It kinda looks like Dante's Satan and the sinners all around him frozen forever. The anti-spiral wants you frozen too, because they think spiral energy will make reality collapse in on itself.
A single life form is capable of drawing forth the power of the infinite universe. However, no life form is capable of controlling such power, forming a giant black hole, returning the universe to nothingness. This is the spiral nemesis.
Preventing progress is all the anti-spiral does. And that's Mara, god of death, obstacle to enlightenment. If you can beat up Mara, you might just be a Buddha. Saitama had a fight like this too, but he didn't make anything of it. What a shame. Gurren Lagann's climax spirals upward to this peak, the collision of the Giga Drill and the anti-Giga Drill. The camera zooms out while the drills suck up the multiverse until the screen is just black. It looks like the anti-spiral was right all along. Reality collapsed in on itself. But the show's not over yet, so you know reality's not done. I interpret this brief stillness as Team Daigurren experiencing samadhi, a meditative state of awareness. Here, in a serene ego death, they discover the secrets of the universe. You can't have an anti-spiral without a spiral. When the anti-spiral oppresses the spiral path, it advances the spiral path, whether it likes it or not. Having witnessed non-duality, Team Daigurren affirms that they are without boundaries, just like it says in the theme song. They can do the impossible, they can see the invisible, they can touch the untouchable, and they can break the unbreakable. And all that remains is wisdom beyond wisdom. But suddenly the climax spirals inward. What's the point of wisdom beyond wisdom if you don't beat Space Satan over the head with it? It's not looking good, though. The anti-Giga drill smashes the Giga drill, and a smaller drill, and a smaller drill, until Shimon, Nia, and Viral drill through the anti-Giga drill. When the anti-spiral catches them, Viral grabs Shimon and Nia in Lagann and throws them at it. And when the anti-spiral catches Lagann, gosh, what a dork, I'm tearing up. These 10 seconds are important. Lagann picks up Shimon and throws him.
Lagann!
Shimon is as surprised as we are. A robot throwing its pilot is like a human ripping out their own brain. Is Lagann piloting itself? Did it become alive just now? Was it alive this whole time? Either way, as usual, it's the Lotus Sutra, maybe my favorite part. The Buddha says a little girl will become a Buddha, but some in the audience say they can't believe it because she's not an old man.
The female body is polluted. It is not a vessel for the Dharma. How can you attain highest enlightenment?
The little girl shows them their foolishness by poofing into an old man, and thereby a Buddha.
Then the assembly there all saw the daughter of the Naga king instantly transform into a man and expound the true Dharma universally for the sake of all sentient beings in the 10 directions. The daughter of the Naga king had become a Buddha.
Outside the Lotus Sutra, there's another Buddha named Tara, called the mother of all Buddhas. She became a Buddha as a woman just to spite the patriarchy. These stories and other stories like them show that no limit can limit you. You don't even need good feet to be a Buddha. In the same way, Lagann miraculously poofs to life, ignoring any reason it can't. It proves itself by throwing its own pilot. Shimon is surprised Lagann can do that, but Shimon's no fool. He accepts Lagann without a doubt within the instant.
Lagann!
Good. He doesn't have a moment to spare. Vairocana's Buddha nature is battling Mara by concentrating itself in a manifested Buddha. I mean, Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann's spiral energy is beating up the anti-spiral by presenting itself in a single pilot. Shimon and the anti-spiral fight fist to fist, but he's got a trick up his sleeve. He's practiced physically generating spiral energy, and now he conjures a drill. You gotta perform a miracle or two every once in a while, you know? Just like he defeated Lord Genome, Shimon drills through the anti-spiral. With its last breath, the anti-spiral begs.
If this is how it must be, protect the universe at all costs.
And Shimon compassionately replies,
Of course we will. You can believe in us too. Have faith in us humans.
It's said that a Buddha's teachings, the Dharma, decays over time. The golden Dharma becomes the semblance Dharma, which only looks like the golden Dharma. Eventually, a new Buddha replaces that semblance Dharma by teaching the golden Dharma again. I wonder if the anti-spiral is representing something more than just Mara. Maybe it's an ancient residue from a golden spiral path abandoned eons and eons ago, decayed, fossilized, a semblance of its former self, waiting, just waiting, to be repaired, restored, renovated, purgatorioed by whoever rediscovers that golden spiral path long forgotten. And after Shimon does exactly that, liberating everyone everywhere across the multiverse,
The freed spiral races are all sending us messages of joy and celebration.
He grows old. He turns planet Earth into a pure land, a heavenly realm where everyone can learn about their spiral energy. Here's another one of Kamina's slogans, which changes across the show. I've already referenced it a few times because you can't talk about Gurren Lagann without saying it.
Simon, yours is the drill that will break through the vault of heaven! Our journey won't stop until we pierce the heavens themselves and beyond! Your drill is the drill that's gonna bust right through heaven and earth and even tomorrow!
This develops to...
My drill is the drill that creates the heavens!
Piercing the heavens isn't enough. You need to make more of them. You can always make more heavens. There can't be too many heavens. There will never be enough heavens. Maybe Shimon knows his golden spiral path will eventually decay to a semblance of its former self, and the foolish ignorance of the anti-spiral will emerge once more. But he also knows spiral energy will always be there, and someday, someone will reignite the golden spiral path and beat up Space Satan with it, and somehow that fight will be even bigger this time.
I wonder if I'll ever go.
Sure.
Let's finish up with my definitely objectively correct list of characters' progressions on the Buddha path. Some characters might be on multiple tiers. The anti-spiral is Mara, who must be defeated to become a Buddha. Garou, Roshu, Viral, and Lord Genome are Devadatta, antagonists to unite with. Nia was mind-controlled to be evil, so I'll say she's better than that. Genos and Roshu are Sravakas, someone who listens to wisdom but doesn't completely understand it. Saitama is a Pratyekabuddha, someone who discovers secrets of the universe but isn't skillful enough to teach a world which won't listen. Tell you what, Lord Genome, he's a Pratyekabuddha too. He knows about spiral energy. He's even named after DNA, which is very spirally, but he thought trapping humanity underground was easier than teaching them about it. Or maybe Lord Genome is a wisdom king, a wrathful protector of the path. There are a lot of tiers I didn't mention. Buddhism is big. Anyway, I say King's a Bodhisattva. He's a relatively enlightened fella trying to talk Saitama into making something of himself. The whole cast of Gurren Lagann spirals upward as bodhisattvas until together they pilot Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, a cosmic Buddha. That cosmic Buddha manifests itself as Shimon, who has become the emanated Buddha. If you step back, way back, and maybe squint a little bit, pop culture sometimes looks like it's presenting something important. Religions aren't as popular as they used to be, but with skillful means, bodhisattvas can always slip lessons in where they're not expected. Like a kid tricked out of a burning house with toys, you might not even notice when your favorite stuff leads you on a path toward joy, confidence, and compassion. When you share your joy by recommending that stuff to your friends, you might not even notice you're leading them on that path yourself.
Hey, when the hell did you get taller than me, huh?
Wow, you're right.
So do your push-ups and get in the fucking robot. Because you can see the One-Punch Man isn't a Buddha. Because Saitama doesn't have snail hair.
Those are my thoughts on it anyway. Plus I read it in a manga.
Thanks for watching. See you next time, Squidlings. Bye-bye. If you feel like it, throw money at me.